closed for school, you're gonna go repetitively back to these same stores. Tourism is very unique in that we're not gonna get many, we can't bank on getting many of those people that came last year this year, because they're gonna wanna probably go somewhere else. So we're refilling every one of those seats plus growing. That's what puts it into perspective for me. Is out of that 11.8, maybe 2 or 3 million have been to Memphis before, but a whole lot of them, this is their first time. And so next year, we're gonna grow more, and we're gonna get people who've never been here before again. Or people that have been here and didn't get to do everything they wanted to do that first time.
And that's why Graceland continues to reinvent itself.
Absolutely.
To get the repeat customer, the repeat guest. They've done a great job of it. That hotel over there, which I'm sure you've all driven by, that's new. All the old souvenir stores, the old snack bars are all gone.
They're all gone.
But you can still see some of the, I guess you can get, you can go visit the, you can go over there and visit the restaurants. Of course, they charge you to park in the parking lot. So that's kind of tough to pay parking and then walk in to get a meal.
Yeah.
But it's good food, and it's kind of fun.
If you're gonna Uber somewhere for dinner, maybe consider Ubering out there anyway. So, but yeah, it's they know that they've got to be relevant. We know we've got to continue to be relevant. When I first went to the museum, some of my challenges were, we want to keep this a true experience, but at the same time, I want to have the 12 and 13-year-olds coming through, and I want them to be excited about something. So how much technology do I bring into the museum? How many touch screens do I allow? I want some listening stations, something that they can experience personally. So, that's trying to make sure you're touching your full audience. But as Doug was speaking about, for you all, the opportunities are endless in the industry for careers. I always thought I would be in accounting in some form or fashion. Never did I think I would be welcoming a busload of people from Ireland to the Stax Museum and telling them about the history of the movie theater that converted into a recording studio and made the song Green Onions that they just absolutely love and adore. Or conducting a wedding in the little church inside the museum for 2 people from England that had been engaged for 8 years, but they were not going to exchange vows until they could get to Memphis to do it. So it's pretty crazy.
Questions?
Has Memphis Rocks affected your foot traffic at all?
It has increased. We work to partner with them as often as possible. For instance, during fall break and spring break, our education and community engagement manager developed a program where if you came to the museum and participated in some activities we did, you got passes to go to Memphis Rocks and vice versa. We have held screenings for films when they had rock climbing professional convention type things in town where they're hosting. We have opened our theater to them to allow them to come over and show the film. So we partner and participate, and that's another thing I was thinking of when Cynthia mentioned other cities. When I've gone to these expos and stuff, people are very competitive, right? A consumer only has so much to spend, and so everybody's fighting over that dollar. Memphis is one of the few places that not only do we get it, but other people will go up and down the aisles of these expos and go, in Memphis, y'all got it so good. We all support each other, and we know we're lifting each other up. If I'm not represented at a show, but Graceland is there, they're promoting Stax and Rock and Soul and the Memphis Zoo, which is one of the top 10 zoos in the United States, because they know if you're going to come to Memphis, we want you to stay 3 days, and you're not going to go to Graceland 3 days in a row. Right. So we want to show you what all we have here so that you're going to plan your trip, and you're going to plan it to stay as long as you can afford with time and money to stay here. Yes.
So I've been asking everyone that's coming to speak to us, what is the Memphis Attractions opinion over the upcoming renovations for Conley Park and what it's presenting?
Does the Attraction Association, as a collective, do we have an opinion?
They spoke at our meeting, Yeah, and it is definitely, going to be, some great opportunities. Actually, the group that handled the dog park portion of it, Bell River Parks, actually stated, Ms. Johnson was just there, and they're actually, having a meeting this week in Detroit and several other cities that actually, wanna see what we're doing here. This is Cynthia speaking, not on behalf of the attractions, this is Cynthia speaking. There's more than just Memphis in May, right? We wanna make sure that Tom Lee Park can still handle Memphis in May and those kinds of things. But at the same time, everything needs to evolve. And you wanna make sure that more people are enjoying that park in that area, and that it's changing with our demographics and different things like that. So based on the plans that they have shown in some of the meetings, and if they kind of make sure there's no major changes, oh, this is what we're getting, okay, then I don't think anything is, I think we're going in the right direction. What's your opinion?
You turned it on me.
Of course.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, it's a good. I personally think it's a good plan. Wise, because Tom Lee Park is known just for Memphis in May. But at the same time, the main thing I'm worried about is not really Memphis in May itself, because I've seen the plans on how they're going to have it set up down there.
Right.
The thing I'm worried about is barbecue fest, not just music fest, but like barbecue fest, because we're losing space. We're going to be losing some booth space for more vendors. So does that mean that we're going to be losing people, or are we going to have to cut down on the sizes of how big they bring in their booth and stuff like that? Because that's international competition that brings in international people.
International people, the reputation of the event, because once the event starts, your reputation changes, then it may be hard. Valid point, but is that the only event? Is that you may have challenges with, that the overall scope of those, what they're looking, it's a lot of green space, right? And so if it's done right, it will give more visual and more access to the river, more different things to do. And that's kind of what we want people, when they come to the city, we want them to really enjoy the city. But also, I don't think attractions are just for visitors. You've been in my class. I think that we as Memphians need to make sure that we're utilizing these great spaces that we have here. And so that's why I think the plan that they shared with us in the meeting, I felt very positive. Lisa?
The way I look at it, I'm always, I don't wanna say pessimistic, but I'm very hesitant to jump on board with big change. I get scared and I just kinda wanna shut down and see what happens. The thing I trust is when they put the baseball stadium where the AutoZone Park is now, back then, downtown was just starting to get established again. And my husband was from a little town in eastern Arkansas, and the first time we went to the opening game, and I had him walking by my side down the streets of downtown Memphis, excited about going to a baseball game. It changed. It changed the way people interacted downtown, and it helped other things to come on board. So that being said, I try to just trust that the powers that be have done the research, have looked at all angles, have held these town hall meetings and these meetings with the organizations that do make use of it, and that they're gonna come to a consensus of what's best for everybody. Everybody's probably gonna have to give up something, but I'm hoping it's for the good of everybody. I live right across the street from it, and I'm concerned. I didn't like it when they shut the lanes down to just 2 lanes. I was like, gosh, but there had to be reason behind it. Thank goodness they tested it out and said, you know what, this isn't working, we'll go back to the other. Of course, changing the park that drastically, you can't actually reverse very well. So, like I say, I'm trusting the walking across the bridge, the Big River crossing is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And we are known through media, magazine, and through the internet as this city that has just opened up this magnificent biking and walking trail that people literally come to see, specifically that, and experience it.
I have 2 guests right now, and that's all they do. They're biking, and every trail that they can do, every experience. And so right before I left the hotel today, I was able, like, we need our bikes, because we're having to store the bikes. And I was like, and thinking to myself, this more and more, I'm gonna have to find storage for more and more bikes, because these bikes are not cheap bikes, and so they need to have proper storage and stuff like that. And so every day they're doing a different path. So we definitely have that as a positive, and it is an attraction that people will become, just like they come see the music. People are gonna wanna come to Memphis to experience that.
Cynthia, did you mention to everybody that you work at the U Hotel?
No, sir, I do not.
Cynthia works at the U Hotel. Her attractions job is volunteer, no money. So someone's gotta pay her bills, and she works for the U, which is the old Madison, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, just to set the record straight.
Thank you, Mr. Roy.
The thing that interests me, if I can throw my 2 cents worth in, is that, of course, you're also, you wear a hotelier hat, but you're an upscale hotel. And I'm not sure how much of our barbecue crowd and how much of our music fest crowd is that upscale.
Lot, because Barbecue Festival, I don't necessarily get teams, but I get FedEx is doing their VIPs and they're bringing them in, and they want to stay with me. And this XYZ company that is bringing in VIPs, and that's part of their either sales managers, entertainers. I think 2 years ago, I literally had a company